right, hey guys, it's Chris, as you know, because you're watching this stream. Thank you guys for coming in and watching. This is actually going to be still stuck on my YouTube. Obviously, I'm streaming right now, so it's only going to stay on Twitch for about maybe 2 weeks. But I'll keep it on. I'll keep it on YouTube. I just want to take a little time here right now between what I'm doing and talk about what's going on as far as voice acting. If you're new and impressionable voice actor, you're wanting to learn some stuff and get some more information about what's been going on with SAG and everything, and all the controversy about taking roles and all that stuff. Actually, I want to turn that off. I don't actually want the chat window going on. I'll be able to still see your questions and stuff like that, but I want to keep that really quiet. You guys can still talk amongst yourself over there. Basically, give a little background of what's been going on, a bit about myself, of why I'm actually doing this. I mean, you guys know me as a voice actor. Hello, Dylan. Hello, Wolf. I do see you guys there. I've actually been in the entertainment business about 30 years. The voice acting is where I'm actually wanting to end my career. Before then, I've got like 20 years of stage experience under my belt. I got 10 years of film experience, about 10 years of stand-up comedy and improvisational comedy, and I've worked or done research and talking with Screen Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, and stuff like that. So I have a little bit of understanding of what's going on in the industry. If you want a little background of why everyone talks about SAG-AFTRA and everything like that, there was at the time 2 agencies if you were one to get into film and stuff like that. There was SAG-AFTRA, the Screen Actors Guild, and then the American Federation of TV and Radio Artists, AFTRA. So if you want to work in film, you go to SAG. If you want to work in TV, you go to AFTRA. Well, about 10, 20 years ago, they merged into one into one entity. So they kind of have a hold on the acting monopoly. The only difference is if you want to do stage acting, you would go to Actors Equity. So what happened is that there's been a lot of strikes because a lot of people didn't like the idea of one big union owning everything, and there's been some sort of controversies about. There's basically been a strike as far as video games has been going on. That's been going on for about almost a year until it finally was suspended a couple days ago. There's been a lot of controversies about what's going on, and one of the biggest things that happened is about a couple months ago. You know about Genshin Impact, of how popular it is, and it has a great voice acting team. But a lot of those voice actors, being union, have been striking, so they can't work on video games. What had happened is a person in Japan, an actor in Japan, Jacob Takahashi, got cast for a role in Genshin Impact that was currently was used by another actor currently on strike. And Hoyoverse basically gave it to them. What happened is a bunch of actors jumped on Jacob and just started ridding him, saying he was a scab, which is basically someone who takes someone's role while someone is striking, and just basically dogpiling a whole bunch of drama and stuff like that because he took someone's role. And it caused a humongous mess over on Twitter about mainly 2 actresses, who I'm not going to name because you don't need to. If you look at, you'll research it. Just a humongous mess. And come to find out is that this corporation, Hoyoverse, wasn't actually a part of the union. So all of this directed hate was completely unwarranted, but it didn't matter because just for some reason. What had happened more recently is this YouTuber by the name of Mugen, who does all these types of journalistic type of videos, basically went on a big thing about everything, and made this humongous hour-long video about SAG and how they're doing wrong, and how there's a mafia of actors that are taking over the whole industry and trying to push people out. And it's just, I just wanted to try to clear some stuff up about Screen Actors Guild and stuff. Yeah, there's some shady things that Screen Actors Guild is doing, but a mafia, no. What I can morally think about what's going on with the whole Jacob Takahashi thing is, LA actors, we all know each other. I mean, I'm not part of the LA clique anymore, but there is definitely cliques in any sort of entertainment industry you're going to be in, whether it's a comedy, film, stage, anything. When you get a bunch of actors, we all have incredible egos, and we are all excessively narcissistic, and we think we know it all. Look, I'm doing this right now. You get that. You're definitely going to get people that are going to mesh together. When you're doing like dubbing for anime, you're all in a group together. You start to become friendship. You make friends here So yeah, basically all the people that were dogging on Jacob all know each other in real life. That's the reality of it all, because I know I've partied with them all in real life. In fact, if you look at Class of '09, the half the cast list I've met in person, I've hung out with in person. So yeah, it's a little clique mentality, and I agree. I agree with some of the stuff that Mugen's video said. That some of the stuff they did is completely wrong, but I don't agree with how they've treated these people. I don't agree with some of the names that I saw that I actually some people that are actually actors, that actually teach, that actually are telling are being this disrespectful, and it's just blew my mind how people could be that petty and that catty. So. But as far as Mugen's video, it was just more of a smear campaign, and coming from someone who's been the victim of a smear campaign, it really is kind of a crappy thing to do. Trust me, these actors that are very narcissistic and being jerks, they'll get theirs down the line. They'll eventually do something. They will screw up on their own merit. You don't need someone else doing this for you. So that's where that one ends here. Now, as far as Screen Actors Guild, the one thing I took from that video, even though he's right, there's a lot of stuff that I don't like about what SAG-AFTRA is doing, but it all came across as this sort of, if this video game strike is going to cause these people to lose all their money, they're going to be homeless, they're not going to have anything anymore because of this crappy SAG-AFTRA. No. Now, if you're only doing video games, period, yeah, but that's not how you work in SAG. If you can't work in video games, you go over and work in animation. You go over and work in audiobooks. You go and work in commercials. You don't just stay on one thing. I mean, yeah, you can't talk about the video games, but you can work on other stuff. And that's basically what's going on. It's still a job for a lot of these people, which is why they're mad they don't get to do that one. But no, you're not gonna lose your livelihood because you're not doing video games. The truth is, when you're in LA, I mean, it is a very rough thing to live in LA and be a voice actor. I'm not, because I can't do it. A lot of your voice actors that are really, really popular that you know of, they've got a roommate. They've got maybe 2. They got 3, maybe 4, all sharing one place, because that's how rough it is out there. I mean, you can hear it from him himself. He'll tell it many times. Jim Carrey, even though he's majorly rich now, he was living in his car when he was starting. So that's just how it is in the business. When you want to go out there, you're gonna rough it. So this Mugen video making that everything is that's the normal. So that's don't worry about that. Now, if you are an actor, the whole thing about union versus non-union, it is very rough. I mean, one of the things that you need to remember is when you become SAG, when you become Screen Actors Guild, you stop being a big fish in a little pond, like how I am with FNAF, and you become a little fish in a big pond. When you're trying to put those games, those roles, now you're going against Troy Baker. Now you're going against big people. I mean, if a film actor decides, hey, I want to try out for this game, they probably won't, because you make far much more money doing film than video games. But if Jack Black says, hey, I want to try for this game, now you're going up against Jack Black, and who do you think they're going to pick? So it is a very rough business out there. You don't want to join the union until you are absolutely ready to go onto the big leagues. So that's why this business is a very tough business. That's stuff you need to think of. I'm still non-union. I've been non-union 10 years, and you've seen what I can do. What I can do with a cheap booth and a mic. So you just got to be very smart about this stuff. So this gloom and doom coming from this guy, said, no, that is just the business as usual. Which now brings me to the original part I was actually going to talk about, but was kind of extended by the SAG strike and all that stuff, and that was people about Steel Wool. And basically people are saying, well, why is Kellen getting all these food? Why was Kellen always getting that? Why is he the one? Well, I've sat back, I've watched the stuff since Help Wanted to. I've watched the company as a whole. I've researched the company as a whole. And basically, you just need to remember, despite how popular FNAF is, Steel Wool and even Scott, it's still an independent video game franchise. This is independent. It's not the big leagues. It's not Sony. It's not. So if it comes down to money, which, if you remember some of the latest crap about, not crap, discussions about they saw their door glass reviews about the company and how they're mean and this that, and the other, and they're broke and they keep canceling stuff. I could say that they're not rolling in the money for the simple fact, if you look at the cast lists for the last 3 years, it's always been Marta, Kellen, Heather, and Andy, who are very established actors and are very good actors, which means they know that they're very good actors, so they now have a core cast of who they are happy with working with, because you can just keep going this person, and you don't have to add more people to the roster. You don't have to spend that much more money. So that's why you've got one guy doing 5, 6, 7 roles. I mean, look at me with Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon. I do 6 characters in that game, and 2 of them they just tacked on because I was doing so well in the other ones. So that's what companies will like to do. If they find a good actor they like to work with, have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters. I don't know who this additional voice is, but he makes a lot of good stuff. So that's why you shouldn't be too upset about, they know who they want to work with. If they ever want to use me again, I'll jump at the start, And actually that whole part about not canceling games, there's a little bit of truth to that. I don't think they've canceled anything in now or anything like that, but I do know before they got the whole FNAF franchise, and you can even look at the past Steam page of past their games. Do you remember the film Ready Steady One about the VR, we're being in the Matrix? Well, Steel had actually made a demo when that came out, a VR game, because that's what they primarily were, just VR games. And they just made it where this little demo of you being in the Matrix and all this stuff, and they were going to actually expand on that and make it a full game. And then Scott came knocking with FNAF and said, well, FNAF's going to make far more money than this one movie. So they've killed that project and went straight to Help Wanted, which I think was a better idea anyway, because that's far better. But I would have liked to have seen something in the Matrix. But do I think that Steel was in trouble or anything like that? No, not at all. I don't think that at all. I think they've got something good here with Secret of the Mimic. But as far as FNAF goes, I think people are starting to remember FNAF is not really popular because of the video games. FNAF is popular because of you guys, the fans, with all the songs, with all the cosplay, with all the animations, with all the drawings, with all this stuff. You guys are what's keeping this alive. Because you even said, most people don't play the games. They watch other people. They watch Daco and Mark and Super Horror Bro and everyone, Vapor and everyone like that. They watch you guys, and sometimes me. I'm small, but sometimes me. And that's what keeps the friendly. So long as you guys are still out there doing this stuff, FNAF's never going to go away. So, like I said, do I think Steel will show up? No, I don't. I think this game might be very tell what they plan to do. So as long as this game is popular and doing well, I think they've got some good things to build. I'm kind of liking what they have here right here. So yeah, that pretty much is all I wanted to expound on this stuff. Don't listen to what nobody thinks about SAG. SAG is its own beast. It'll do well. If you are wanting to be in a voice actor, I would suggest, keep what you're doing right now. Don't think about LA. Don't think about, actually, that's the other thing, yeah. Talking about the one other thing on the Mugen video, saying that they're going to ruin, there's not going to be any more voiceover jobs and this, that, and the other. And the honest truth is, because I've talked with people in the industry, because I took a lot of training. You guys know I did some training over at Bang Zoom and talked to a lot of good industry leaders. There is really no work right now. And there's not going to be for about a year, and it's because of the strike. Maybe about a year, maybe about 2. What is becoming very popular for voice actors is actually indie animation. Stuff like Has Been Hotel and The Amazing Digital Circus and even Spooky Month, stuff like that. If you're a voice actor right now, you want to get more involved in that stuff, in the YouTube videos for the time being, until the good jobs come back. And that's what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I think it's going to be good for voice acting. We got a little more bumpy roads that we got to go through, but nothing to worry about. So I'm going to see, did you guys have any little questions? Because that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Just a quick 20 minutes. I'm going to take a short little, another little break because I'm really getting hungry. And I'll come back a little later. So I'll give a couple minutes and see if there's anything. Let me see what you guys are saying. I like what we're saying. The family will probably never die. It has its ups and downs. People laugh for years. I agree that. I mean, if you look at what I have done, would I consider coming back? I would absolutely. And that's the other thing, Even though, I mean, I don't think Steel Wool is going to have the monopoly on FNAF. I mean, anyone can come in and do something. Look, I mean, I forget the Cat Studios, the first part, but the one that did Into the Pit, and Illumix, and stuff like that. I do think that another company could always come around and say, hey, could come around and say, hey, we'd like to do this. Can you advise Chris to help with us? And they can contact me. Like I almost got into the Pit. They just decided not to do voice acting for it. So anything is possible in the world of voice acting. I would love to come back and do anything, even for anything for FNAF. I'm doing stuff with some people for fan games, and I'm doing some songs right now. I'll tell you guys a little bit on that one. All right. Thank you guys. I will see you guys in a short bit, and we'll